Hey everyone, it's Kong again with a special crossover edition of Should You Summon. As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews using these two criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals, how these characters fit into your team, and what kind of content they get used for. Since this is a crossover event, we can get the other two usual criteria out of the way in advance. First, these characters don't unlock any bonds, and none of them rely on anyone else for bonds. They just need to be upgraded through their various class trees. So that's easy. Second, for availability, these are limited heroes, so they're not going into the general summoning pool. Unless the event gets a rerun, this is our only chance to summon for them. We know Zilong Games have been trying to get reruns for crossover events, so it's not out of the question. Anyway, fine print aside, let's get right into this crossover raid-up banner featuring two new characters, Himiko and Wataru from MASHIN HERO WATARU, aka Keith Courage. This banner's running from April 8th to the 21st, and since it's not a Destiny banner, you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner character, with the remaining unlucky 20% reserved for any off-banner hero in the regular summoning pool. Yes, it definitely sucks to go all the way to pity, finally pop an SSR and have it be just some regular non-crossover character. Gotcha gonna gotcha. As a bonus, I'll also take a quick look at the free SR character that you can get from the accompanying Secret Realm event next week, Shibaraku. Okay, so let's get started with Himiko, who's arguably the star of the banner. Himiko is a tiny ninja whose main job is to be as annoying as possible in as many different ways as possible. She has several single-target guard-ignoring skills, but she's mainly used for her AoE. Notably, her 3C is a big line attack that reduces the mobility of everyone it hits. Her talent also allows her to inflict random debuffs on anyone she hits. When someone tries to hit her with a single-target attack, she ducks out and teleports back to the closest ally before she can be hurt. Sneaky. You want mobility? She has a 1-cost skill that gives her +2 movement and the ability to move through enemies. You want buffs? She can steal them from her enemies with Plunder and Goblin Knights. You want displacement? She has another skill that pushes enemies back 3 blocks. You want factions? She's a member of YLS Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma, Heroes of Time, buffed by Joshua, Angelica, and Yusuke, and Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida. Of course, she can also just steal faction buffs. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Scylla and Phoenix in the Eternal Temple. Okay. She's also on faction for Jormungandr and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. Maybe she could be of some use during the Nidhogg slime phase, just to keep them under control, but there's probably not an easy unit for her to replace there, so just work on your positioning instead, I guess. PvP, of course, is where she really shines. She got a lot of use in Apex Arena Season 7 in China as a general-purpose nuisance. She can be especially dangerous in the endgame when she can start trapping enemies in the fog, but most of the time she's simply a safe way to splash some debuffs and AoE damage onto the opponents before teleporting back to the team. Dango posted a great video on how to build her and use her earlier this week, so I'll link to that below in the description as well. Alright, let's move on to Wataru. Wataru is an infantry tank smasher attempter. He gets more attack and defense the more allies he has on the map, up to +30% each, and he also heals up to 60% of his own hit points at the start of every turn. If he's full, he takes reduce range damage and can counterattack at range. His 3-cost skill is a huge 1.9 times Sword Soul-like single-target attack that strips 5 buffs before combat. As a bonus, if the target's movement is 1 or less, or if they're stunned, this move does even more damage and prevents them from reviving. The tricky part is reducing their mobility. Anyway, he also has a 1-cost skill that causes the target to be unable to move or guard, and lets him act again after using it. That's convenient. The third neat skill in this tandem is a self-displace that drags him to his target and lets him act again afterwards. So with all this being considered, his total threat distance can get pretty high. He's a member of YLS Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma, Heroes of Time, buffed by Joshua, Angelica, and Yusuke, and Protagonists, buffed by Matthew. For content, in PvE, he's on faction for Phoenix in the Eternal Temple, and Hugin and Munin and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. He should actually be pretty good for the Thunder Dragon too, with lots of buff stripping and his pre-turn self-heals. On the PvP side, he didn't actually get a lot of play in Apex Arena in China. Maybe this is because of his factions, maybe because there wasn't as much need for single-target smashers in a renewed debuff meta. There could be a few reasons. Like any unit, he could be a threat if you put the right box and the right team around him, so if you're a fan, give him a shot and let us know how he works out for you. Finally, I'll just give a brief overview of Shibaraku. He's the free SR character from the Secret Realm event, and he's an odd little man. His talent gives him a revive up to 30% hit points, and when he revives he also gets a boost to his defense, his damage dealt, and his mobility. At 6 stars he can actually revive twice. His 3-cost skill is a single target attack that also does an AoE burst. He has a neat 1-cost panic button skill that heals him by 70% and makes it so he can't attack or move or use skills, but he also can't be targeted, and he's immune to debuffs in this state. It only lasts 1 turn, but maybe that's all the time you need to send help. He can also use Steel Mane Werewolves, which are the hot troupe du jour. My freebies only account is really going to enjoy using him, I think. He's a member of Yales Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma, and Heroes of Time, buffed by Joshua, Angelica, and Yusuke. Okay, so here's the quick and dirty summary of this banner. We have Himiko, who's an AoE nuisance. She pushes enemies around, reduces mobility, and teleports back to safety. We have Wataru, who's a single-target DPS with lots of buff removal. He can shut down revives if the right conditions are met, and he can launch himself into the action rather quickly. Finally, we have Shibaraku, who's the free SR unit. He can revive with increased mobility, and he has a neat little emergency timeout gimmick. Finally, just the usual reminder about upcoming banners. Next week, we should be getting another raid-up banner featuring Rainforce and the Sage of the Trees. Together, they combine to form the Sage of the Rainforest. I'm so sorry. I'm not cutting that out, though. The week after that, we're getting a Legion of Glory Destiny banner featuring some solid units in Helena, Ilusha, and Illustrial. Looking way ahead to the next major update, the next brand new characters we'll be getting in May are Kruger and Vincent. If you like debuffs, you're going to want to keep some summons set aside for Kruger. He's a dirty man. Alright, so that's it for this episode. I hope you found this video and these summaries helpful in making your decision. Let me know in the comments if you plan on summoning on this banner, or if you have other plans. And if you're watching this video after you've summoned, let us know how it went. As always, thank you so much for watching, best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members, Levitt, Derek Gunderson, and Kyle Greer-Brown, as well as all the gold tier members and the new members who enjoyed our April Fool's video. Welcome aboard.